Well, hello. There's been a lot of talk about health care, to the point where I'm pretty much sick of it. And I want to know, where are the Republicans who think that the violent behavior is wrong? There have to be some Republicans out there with some common sense, right? Well, one would think, right? Well, let's put it this way. I've read some of the bill, HR3200. You can get a copy of your own online. Google HR3200. No space between the HR and the 3200. It'll take you to the, I believe, the Thomas Register. And that's the wording they're looking at. That's the wording they're going to be voting on. You don't have to take the word of someone else who interpreted it for you and then feeds you their interpretation. I got an email like that where this one person had gone through and put his interpretations first. It's like, no. Read it yourselves. I know, it's really long. It's a lot of pages, but each page, the way they double space it and have really narrow margins, or really wide margins, it's not as long as it looks, really. Take it in chunks, too, and just look at the title headings. That'll tell you what you want to look at. Title 1, Title 2, there's all sorts of headings under there, and take a look for yourself. Before you yell at anybody, read it yourself. Don't read anyone else's interpretation. Read it and make your own interpretation. It seems the public option is going by the wayside. It's like, no, we need the public option for those who cannot get insurance any other way. As I spoke about in my previous video, I couldn't find an insurer to insure me because of a pre-existing condition. So I was uninsured. And I wasn't working for a large group that had a large group plan that could take on that kind of whatever. They literally wouldn't insure me. So it's not like the public option would have been competing with an insurance company. The insurance companies didn't want me. So there needs to be a public option for people like that to get some kind of care. I mean, if they break their arm falling off a ladder, you know, they need some care. You know? Hello. That's what the public option is for. When you don't work for a large company that can buy a big plan and you got a big group and all the risks are taken on by this big group, that's one kind of insurance. But if you work for a small, tiny company, I mean, or you're self-employed, okay, if you're self-employed, a public option would be really great to have, wouldn't it? You have to take care of the people in your country. And we're not. That's the key. We're not taking care of our own people. And a public option would be one way to do that. These co-op things, I don't like the sound of that. Sounds like HMO-ville all over again. No. A public option. If a public option were available today, I wouldn't be switching out of my group plan at work. It's a good plan. I have no reason to switch out of it. I'd keep it. But if I were fired a week from now and there were a public option, I wouldn't be desperate. You know how some things look desperate? And people who get fired can feel this, oh my God, what if something happens? Well, if there were a public option, it wouldn't be this horrible thing. I see no problem with basically Medicare, the Medicare idea spread out to the public option. The infrastructure is kind of already there. would have to guard against the fraud. And there have been some unscrupulous doctors, hospitals, etc. that committed fraud. Well, you know what? I think it would be worth it to pay to keep the fraud down. And there are ways to do it. But please remember that the insurance companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the large health organizations have been gaming the system in their favor for years now. Years. Now, what if the system were gamed in your favor instead? In my favor? That's what I'm talking about. It needs to be gamed the other way a little bit. So the insurance companies don't have all the rights to insure you or not, or to insure you up until this time when they feel, oh well, we don't want to insure you anymore, now you're sick. No! No! That's just wrong. The insurance companies have hurt so many people by just not covering them anymore. Not covering them anymore. Then what do you do? If you're not Medicare age yet, what do you do? And I've got years before I'm Medicaid age. Medicare age, rather. What do? You just don't go to the doctor. You don't go. You don't go. You don't get your meds, and you deteriorate until you die. That's what happens. It may be a slow process. It may be a short process, depending on what is wrong with you. But you will die. And because you keep putting things off because you don't have insurance and you can't pay for it. Well, do we really want that, or would we rather take care of our own people? You know, we take care of a lot of people. We send subsidies, you know, aid to other countries, like tsunami aid, you know, and I'm not saying we shouldn't, but we should take care of our own, shouldn't we? Yeah, I'm thinking, okay, so when the child care packages came along where, you know, if you weren't insured, your kids could at least have some insurance through the state. I think things improved for some kids. But I don't know. Some people are just outright lying to other people to get them to kill this, and that's not right. So you have to read it yourself. Read it yourself. Make your own conclusions. Don't. This guy in this vlog went through it, and these are what he says is going to happen. Well, that's what he says is going to happen. What do you say is going to happen? When you read it yourself, go online, HR3200, pull it in, look at it, read it yourselves.